Hello and welcome to another episode of Extra Cover. Coming up on today's show, we head to Kagiso, where cricket forms part of the core celebrations of Freedom Day. History is made at the Imperial Wanderers Stadium with the emergence of a first ever female grounds curator. And we take a look back at the 2021-2022 domestic season. The 27th of April 1994 is an iconic date in our country's storied history. It marked the first post-apartheid election. Today, that date is commemorated as Freedom Day, an opportunity for us to reflect on our country's past and revel in our liberation. Johannesburg-based sports club Fat Cats, which was established in 2014, prides itself in bringing people from different backgrounds together. The Freedom Day Cricket Challenge is one such initiative. The second edition of the tournament was held at the Kagiso Cricket Club this year.
We all know that about 28 years ago, people stood in long queues and voted for the first time, and hence we are reaping the rewards of freedom and democracy today. So we love sport, we love cricket, and that's how we get to spend the day in something that we really, really love.
It's obviously only the second year that we've done this, so it doesn't have the notoriety that we're looking to get. But there's a lot of people out here. People have brought their families, friends, and this is really what the day is meant to be about. It's about us obviously taking seriously the meaning of today, but also celebrating it with friends and family in the best way we know how, and through cricket.
Organizers decided to spice things up a bit, making subtle changes to the rules of the game. Within the competition's T20 format, there are 5 balls in an over, while they've also encompassed their own fielding restrictions. The first fixture of the day saw Soweto-based club Mazafios take on Smoking Aces. Hosts Fat Cats took on Dangerous Darkies in the other semi-final. The opening encounter set the tempo for a thrilling day of action. There were some impressive phases of play along with some sloppy fielding, but we hear those dropped catches were all part of a cunning plan.
Luckily, we won the toss ball first. Had a good run, good 4 overs at least. Get a wicket, couple of drop catches. But the other one was a sitter. So that's only the problem that happens, is that you look at a situation like that, but you know that most of the guys are actually not regularly players. So you expect something, but you don't expect a great deal. But as long as you can limit, it's a 20-20 over game. So limiting of runs becomes more crucial than anything.
To be honest with you, it was part of the plan. For us to drop catches, we just kept the other guys in because we could see they struggling. But the fact that they couldn't hit boundaries, it was not a setback because of those guys didn't hit any boundaries. We would go 2 dots, 1 there, and then on an over would get at least 3. That was very good for us with those guys that were in.
Bringing friends and family together is the overarching theme of the tournament. The smell of braai meat permeated the air, while chilled music in the background created a lekker vibe on the day.
Oh, it's amazing. It's been so cute because people came here with their families, their babies. There's like great food, there's like snacks, drinks. It's been amazing.
It is a beautiful day, nice family day, nice outing. You can see I've got my 2 supporters this side. So yeah, everything is running smoothly.
Freedom Day means that I can be in a space where I'm comfortable, feeling loved, being appreciated, and being around people that I love the most. Initially, we came to support a friend of ours. We're not much of cricket people, but because of him, we've learned to love the game and the spaces around it, which was quite interesting.
Mazafios were awaiting finalists after they dispatched Aces. It was now down to Fat Cats and Dangerous Darkies to fight it out. The Double Ds would go on to win with some impressive bowling and power hitting. In the final, Mazafios got off to a flyer with the bat. The outfield at Kagiso Cricket Club was fast and batsmen made the most of the conditions. Dangerous Darkies put up a brave fight in trying to chase down the 176 set by Mazafios, but they would fall short in the end.
When we got to the final, we hit more boundaries. We started running a bit in terms of rotating the strike. That worked for us very well, and then we posted a very good total. That was 170 odd. And if you're looking at all the games that played, no one managed to score 130, 135. That was just an advantage that we wanted to make sure that we use it going to the final for us to score.
we knew from the onset that we needed to kind of go in a little bit hard, right? It's over 170 to try and get in the 20 overs, and really it's basically 100 balls actually. So the difficulty there comes in the fact that you knew that you needed to go hard. And I think the guys really tried to go in hard. For example, we had Leander really score that 50, which is great. The problem is, again, the sustainability thereof. We played an earlier game, we play another one straight after that. Exhaustion levels kind of kick in as well. But the guys really tried their best. They try to push on, try to kick in, but fortunately the gas was a little bit out from that point.
A beautiful sunset brought a close to the day's activities. All three boxes ticked then, remembering the millions who struggled through the dark days of apartheid, promoting the sport of cricket and bringing South Africans together.
The idea is just to get the sport out there and get people playing the sport. It's very important that you get as many young people falling in love with the sport. I mean, many of the guys that have come here are guys that used to play for certain clubs, and you can see the kids are inspired by what they see.
But moving and looking into 2023, I think the guys have really created something amazing. I really hope that the tournament moves around in terms of venues as well. So I think the winner today certainly has been cricket, certainly has been Kagiso, the community, and so too has Kagiso Cricket Club. So hopefully it just continues to go from strength to strength, the more the merrier.
The 2021-2022 CSA domestic season rounded up with the Lions' victory in the CSA One-Day Cup in April. The new era of domestic cricket saw teams divided into two tiers. The change in structure did not alter the ultra-competitive nature of the domestic game, but there were certainly some challenges to navigate through.
For us to move away from franchise system into the provincial setup was more or less an avenue of trying to expand our base, but most importantly to have a clear line of sight for our pathways at member level, so that the kid who starts cricket at the lower level can be able to see where they can end up and identify with their own provincial team. And we were quite excited considering that we run a combined log, so every match counts, irrespective of whether you're in contention for a trophy or not.
The season was really good and a season that we're really extremely proud of. I mean, the team had to contend with sometimes 6, 7, 8 players moving from Lions up to the Proteas. Quite a disruptive season with regards to who was going out and who was coming in, but certainly a season of celebration because it just showed the depth of the pipeline, it showed the depth of the talent acceleration program.
Yeah, I think what was most difficult with the COVID being around was the uncertainty around fixtures, uncertainty around players' health and fitness. So it did hamper a lot of things with regards to what we wanted to do and what we needed to do as a team.
Yeah, and I think the season started very well for us. I think our pre-season went really well, to be honest. We had a lot of warm-up games against Namibia, and I think that set it up nicely for us. I think Namibia comes highly recommended as a team, and the type of brand and cricket they have been playing over the past year or two going into international cricket as well. But I pretty much all, I think preparation was really well.
It was actually very hard, and we had to take control of the whole setup around COVID and stuff, and make sure that our players, management and surrounding people that is involved with the Rocks are well looked after.
The season got underway with the first ever cross-division competition. The CSA Provincial T20 tournament saw teams from both Division 1 and 2 fight it out for honours. In a nail-biting final at the Diamond Oval in Kimberley, the iTech Knights edged out the Dolphins.
I mean, when we got to the tournament, we knew the kind of players we were, how we wanted to approach the game as bowlers and batters. And we were lucky we didn't even lose one game there. When it comes to the captain chatting to the bowler, it was really flowing because we knew the kind of game we wanted to play. And we knew that we deserved to be in the final. So I was quite surprised when he gave me the ball and he said, "How are you going to bowl the last over?" And I had to defend like 15 in the last over. After my last ball, then everybody came flying. So yeah, that was an epic moment.
The drought is over. The Knights finally get their hands on a trophy. It's been 10 long years since they last tasted silverware.
Newcomers, the G-Bets Rocks, were the surprise package in the CSA T20 Challenge. All 31 matches were played over a 2-week period at St. George's Park. In the final, Peter Malan, the overall leading run scorer, put together a match-winning 76. It was a crucial win for the Boland outfit, vindication that smaller unions have the ability to compete with the best.
It was quite enjoyable. I mean, for us it was sort of like a tournament-style competition, which a lot of us don't really get a chance to play in. So it was good. You're sort of in the rhythm of it and you just kept going with it. I mean, we lost our first 2 games. I think we probably won the big moments where they landed a few early punches and we just managed to stay in the fight and sort of just didn't go away. And then when it was our chance to land the punches, they were actually knockout punches. We didn't allow them a chance to come back.
Supersport's coverage of the season brought the thrills and spills of each competition into the living rooms of the cricket-loving public.
I must commend Supersport for supporting us in our venture of this domestic cricket season, especially considering that the T20 knockout and the CSA T20 challenge, where all the matches were broadcast and shown on TV, that actually gave an avenue for people at home to see the talent that is existing within South African cricket.
The value added by the World of Champions goes beyond simply broadcasting the action. It contributes to the marketing and development of players. This season saw a serious batch of youngsters emerge, as well as the return to form for some older heads.
We get to the CSA T20 Challenge. We get to see talent. We get to see developing talents. I want to pick out a couple of names for you. Tristan Stubbs, Warriors, comes out, lights out the house. Top leading run scorer for the tournament until probably the last match where Peter Malan overtakes him because he reaches the final. Stubbs just changes the whole perspective in terms of cricket chasing. A guy like David Miller from the Dolphins goes into the competition. IPL auction pops up. The guy is not even there. What happens? Puts up a couple of good performances that are exposed that he exposed, and suddenly the world says, "Hey, the guy can still be able to do it for us." What do we talk? A couple of months later, he's with the Gujarat Titans. He's winning the IPL. So what story are we telling? We're telling a story of an emerging cricketer. We're telling a story of a sustained cricketer. We're telling a story of how cricket is still enhancing around the world.
The Lions were the standout team in the CSA One Day Cup. After a frustrating start to the season, they bounced back with the help of some seasoned campaigners.
Bjorn had been sick on the day and went off the field and came back, got 50. I mean, that shows how much energy he put into the team and how much energy he took away his own interest and made sure he put the team first. I mean, Riza had been struggling before the momentum, not with the skill or just obviously being dropped and trying to get himself back.
The Titans ensured they finished the season with some silverware, landing the coveted 4-day trophy. Propelled by the return of Simon Harmer, the mercurial spinner bagged a total of 44 wickets. A special mention must also go to Paul's Peter Malan, who once again let his bat do the talking. He finished top of the run-scoring charts with 2 centuries to his name.
We kind of knew that we were going to make it tough for the Lions to actually win against us here at home. And you saw big players stand up in those. You want big players to stand up in those type of matches, which they did. Tennessee Brains 100, Hammers bowling spell. So when you got those type of performances from those type of players, it can only help you get into a good position to win matches. We just have to make sure that next season we don't leave any stone unturned. And build more trust in each other, build more trust in each other's abilities, build more trust within the group or the environment, the system, so that people can just go out there and just express themselves.
Devdas Goviji was born in 1947 in Port Elizabeth into a sports-loving family. His father played cricket and tennis, representing the Eastern Province Cricket Union in the 50s.
So I had my upbringing in the center of Port Elizabeth with my three sisters. I lost an elder brother, unfortunately, when he was 7 years old. So I was the one who had to get my sisters to become the fielders and to bowl and to bat when we grew up in the streets of Everett Street, which was the hub of a sporting environment. And I was brought up in a sporting family. My mum and dad were both passionate about sport, particularly cricket and tennis. So I was very lucky in that respect that from almost day one, sport was an integral part of my upbringing.
Amidst the challenging circumstances of the time, Devdas recalls the good times.
Just the camaraderie of the people I played with, the players I played against. If you run through the provinces, you know, to play against Dakabed, Kuti Neethling, Gertie Williams, Kulu McClones, Saeed Majid, Vincent Barnes, you name them, Enver Mula, Michael Patrick, Gopal Manikam in Natal, Yaqub Omar. Then you go into Transvaal, you know, Hussein Ayub, Solid Chotia, Morris Garda, Chicken Bamji. The names just roll off. And to play and being a young person coming into the provincial setup, to us, this is from Eastern Province, we had great names, but we had very small hearts in our team because the big names always overawed us. So we struggled to really make an impact, you know, until very much later when we started to get, you know, more confidence in ourselves that we were not only had the ability, but we could challenge. And of course, by 1978, we won the Hawa Bowl for the very first time, you know, with great players in our own team, the Bravo Jacobs, the Stephen Dries, Jeff Francis, Fahmi Abrams, Imran Hendricks, to name a few, you know, Jesu Pagmaria, a good friend of mine. We had some wonderful players in the East. Neville Francis, of course, Morris Wilson, you know, Philip Stamen, probably the best captain I played under.
He enjoyed an illustrious career following his retirement from cricket, commentating for your World of Champions Supersport, to traveling the world as a match referee. He was the match referee at 94 international games, while he presided over 435 domestic matches. We were treated to a wonderful spin bowling masterclass by Devdas.
Orthodox left-arm spin, but I think I probably didn't break the ball or turn the ball as much as, you know, that more others might have. But I think guile through the air, thinking about which batsman I'm bowling to. Every batsman is different and everybody plays spin differently. So varying your bowling according to the batsman you are bowling to, I think that's the key. And when I watch a lot of the spinners bowling today, they're really almost like robots going through the motion. I bowled the ball leaving the batsman, the right-hander, and of course I had the front finger delivery which would turn back. And coming off the carpet, you know, before we moved onto turf, I think that caught a lot of the people by surprise, because unless you're reading from the fingers, you're going to be in trouble. You can't play it off the pitch. You've got to read from the time it left my hand. And I never rolled the wrist. I used my fingers to the point where I used to bleed from my fingers because of the seam that used to cut the fingers as I, you know, went across it. So I think that length and sort of pace was never an issue. I was always very accurate. I hold the record for Sackbock, you know, for the best bowl economy rate for any season.
Despite the boundaries that were set at the time, Devdas rose to the top.
The other thing that I'm very proud of is when you come to the all-rounder aspect is that there are only 7 Sackbock players who achieved the double in the history of our cricket. And I am one of the 7 that scored 1,000 runs and got 100 wickets. So to me, that's probably the highlight. The disappointment would be that we weren't given Sackbock colours at that stage. And so I missed out on ever being told that you played for your country, which was always a sore point for me.
Born and raised in the province of Mpumalanga, Thandeka Sibego is the newest member of the ground staff at the Imperial Wanderers Stadium. Her appointment earlier this year was an iconic one as she became the first female curator at the international venue.
I come from a rural area called Donald in Mpumalanga. I grew up with my sister and my little brother who's after me here. So I'm in the middle.
Thanda bekungumntwana otimisele nasesikolweni kangangokuba nasesikolweni bengitinangile nje like ikunomcimbi wokuthi bayabavalelisa. Every year bekathola certificate. Njalo vele athola certificate. Vele bekungumntwana bekatimisele esikolweni ukhula nje utimisele vele. Kangangokuba namanje kunencwadi zakhe la endlini zigcwele.
Tandega's upbringing in the village of Donald instilled in her a strong work ethic. Intent on studying further after matric, Tandega's first choice was teaching. Fifth on her list was horticulture. It may not have been high up on her list at the time, but the decision to become a horticulturist paid off in the end.
The conception is that when you go to varsity, the only thing that you're going to do, it's either you are going to do teaching or nursing, those courses that are on the spotlight. So horticulture, I don't think even many people know about it. So even for me, it was like that when I first got into horticulture. But first year, I told myself that I was going to change when I was doing my second year to do another course. But I fell in love, so I wanted to continue and to see what it had for me.
And fall in love she did. The position allows her to learn and grow under head groundsman Evan Flint.
Okay, so I was applying basically for everything that I came across that had horticulture in it. So that's how I got to apply for grounds position in Wandera Stadium. And then it was around, I think November, if I remember well. Then we got called for an interview where I came and yeah. Okay, when I got here, it was even and yeah.
We had some sort of vacancies available in October, November last year. So, we opened we did the application process and there were a few female applicants, which kind of at first took me by surprise because it's not an industry that you would associate, females with. But started thinking and thought, why not? I suppose there's no reason why a female can't be, involved in this industry. So we got thinking and thought, well, let's open up some kind of internship, only available to females. And we opened that up again and had Tandeka was the one who kind of, who stood out through that process. Yeah, first impressions is that she wants to learn. She's willing to get her hands and her feet full of grass and full of mud, so it's great to see that she's prepared to get stuck in.
Being part of the mentorship program means Tandega delves into all aspects of groundskeeping.
So my duties are to remove the boundaries and to as well place the boundaries for the match. It's part of preparing for the match. In the nets, I put the roller, and then after that, I do the marking, it's part of preparing the pitch for the game. So when I am marking, I have to use the tape and the paint to make sure I get the lines correct and the correct measurements as well.
He's always asking questions. He wants to learn. Every time when we are busy with the machines, he's just come to you and ask, what are you doing here? And then how are you doing like this? Why is it like this? And he's willing to learn about it, especially with the ground, to cut the lines, to do everything, to mark the pitch, to put water. If she sees somebody is busy, she's always helping.
She is determined to learn from Flint and those around her. Working on her craft is important to her. Downtime is also vital to her development. Whenever she gets the chance, she escapes the hustle and bustle of the city and heads back to her village.
I usually spend most of my time at church. That's how I keep myself busy because there's no much entertainment at home. And I like to help my mom doing the washing, be it cooking as well as washing dishes.
Senze nengadi but ingadi yamanje ifile ngoba akekho. Siyenza nengadi sikline nalandini sihambe senkonzweni.
Tandega is appreciative of her opportunities in life and hopes more young girls from around the country also dare to dream.
I believe that it's a start and a great foundation for me, of which I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I want to be out there, show the world we as women, we can be given opportunities. It is not a mistake to give a woman opportunities. We deserve opportunities. We work hard for opportunities. So basically, I feel like I'm paving the way for other women that will come after me. So I believe that I'll be able to be one day a head grounds curator. By the way, maybe owning in a stadium somewhere in South Africa or maybe out of South Africa as well. But to say now, a woman being in that position, you understand, because it's like it never happens. Like it's always guys. Because I want to change that conception and everything that comes with it.
That's it for this episode of Extra Cover. A gentle reminder to stay safe as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to affect our daily lives. Goodbye for now.